Topic 3, identifying reasons and conclusions. So I'm pretty sure you must have come up with, you would have definitely heard this word reasoning. What is your reason for saying that? And when we work with children, when we work with adults, right, we always teach them to reason out, right? And it is because of our ability to reason out that we don't sometimes accept things at face value, right? So what is reasoning? Reasoning is a process where we make inferences based on information given, right? So, for example, maybe if we just watch the weather, right, and maybe if it rained on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then the next day on Friday we wake up, and we still see the sky is gloomy, we would automatically infer that it might be a rainy day, right? That is based on uh, our experiences in the past. It's based on the way our observations of the sky. We know that when the sky is cloudy, that it starts raining. So based on that, we reason out and we come up with an inference saying, okay, it might rain today, right? So typically, we sometimes make inferences even like in situations like, okay, we always say that watching too much TV affects a child's grades. How did we come up? Because we have seen that children who spend excessive screen time, have less time for studying, and as a result, they might score low in their exams. Right? So that is an inference that we could make based on information given in studies, based on our observation. And when it comes to reasoning, language plays a vital role, a key role in helping us identify a reason. So when you read research papers, now for your assignment, you would have to do a lot of reading from journal articles. It is the language, the way it is written that helps us identify the reason behind their conclusion. So language, the way you write, what you read, right, which is also written in whatever language, right, is what helps you identify a potential reason for a conclusion, right? So what is the language of reasoning? Most of the time, the reason is always followed by these kind of what we call connective words, right? So most of the time they say, therefore, it is this. I'm pretty sure when you, back when you were doing mathematical problems, solving mathematical problems, you would frequently use the word therefore or hence, right, before writing your conclusion. So these kind of the sentence or the phrases used just after these phrases is most of the time the reason for the conclusion. Right? So your textbook gives a thinking map for understanding and evaluating reasoning. So there are two steps that we could look at. Right? One is what is analysis. So when you're analyzing a problem, you would ask yourself, okay, what is the main conclusion? It might be stated, it might not be stated. You might have to read between the lines. But what is it? What is the main conclusion, right? And what is the reason they have come to that conclusion, right? There should be evidence with the data they have gathered, the analysis, right? So you need to know what is the reason behind it and what was assumed, right? What is it that they missed, right? And if you're not sure about certain terms or the arguments or the claims made, you need to clarify meaning. You have to read up and try to find out what it means. And then the second step is evaluation, right? So are the reasons given acceptable to you, right? So recently I had a parent who had gone and read something. She was having children who were suffering from anxiety. And one of the methods that we use with children with anxiety is we prepare them to face situations. And she had gone and read what something that says don't prepare them. Just let them, because they tend to overthink, and then let them face the situation, which is uh, a technique that might be unethical and which would provoke more anxiety. So, does the reasons they give, uh, is it acceptable? Does the reasoning support conclusion? Are there other arguments that strengthen or weaken the case? So, in this example that I took about the child with anxiety, there's a lot of research that says, okay, you need to prepare them beforehand, right? You don't just put them in difficult situations, right? So, what is the overall evaluation based on what you have obtained, right? Do you agree with what is said, or is it that you don't agree? And when we study a subject like psychology, we are constantly trained to analyze and evaluate. So, even when you meet, even if you meet some of my A-level students, they would constantly always ask the question why, and they would evaluate before making a decision, right? So we've been talking about reasons, right? But and many people would say give you different reasons. But at the same time, you need to make sure you have to ask the question whether these are acceptable. So during the outbreak of COVID-19, there were so many types of treatments and home remedies that people came up with, right? But what is the research basis, right? Why is this the reason they come up with things like this, right? Is there scientific research done with regard to this, right? Can we accept what is being told, right? Can we accept the conclusions that they have come, right? Are there people who argue against it and say, hey, that is not true? What is the reason for the argument, right? So you need to weigh all the pros and cons before you reach a decision, right? And if there is a claim as such, you need to determine how certain the claim is, right? And what kind of context was this claim made, right? There might be certain things that might be valid in other countries but not in our country. So you need to always do a background check on, right, how this all evolved, right? Was there any expert involved in it? Was there proper research done, right? Was the research conducted on a proper representative sample? How big was the sample, right? And what is claimed? Is it something that is widely known or just believed, right? And how well does it fit our beliefs? What is the source, right? What is the background of the source, right? Is this something that is reliable, or is it sometimes you might, even when you're writing your assignments, you might pick things off websites. So you need to be careful. Like a website like Wikipedia, anybody could um, edit the information that is given. So it's sometimes when you're doing research, Wikipedia is not accepted as a reliable source. Even when we pick journal articles, we are always advised to pick journal articles which are peer reviewed, because those are credible sources, right? So when it comes to really finding out whether your source is credible, you need to look for the source's reputation, right? This is the reason why if you say a study was conducted by Yale University or Stanford University, immediately is accepted because of its reputation. And there's reliability. They've produced good research studies that have stood the test of time, right? And whether the source has any vested interest, right? Is the source just trying to prove its point, or is it really validated, right? What does independent researchers who have no idea about the study, what is it that they claim, right? The people who conducted the study, do they have the relevant expertise and training to come to such conclusions, right? And right, can the source make credible reasons for what they claim they make, right? So you need to ask yourself these questions before you come into conclusion. You draw conclusions, right? And then ultimately we talk about evaluating the conclusions that you made, right? So you need to, based on the steps and what was taught, this point, right? You need to make sure that your reason is true and acceptable, right? always look at the good side and the bright and the bad side as well. So I remember back in the days, my dad used to say that with all terms and conditions and agreements you have to sign, always read the stuff that is in the tiniest letters because that is what would tell you, that is the thing that would guide you and give you the clear picture, the correct picture, right? And the inferences you draw must be good ones or valid ones. So hopefully this was useful because um, even these are good things for you to ponder about, especially when it comes to writing your assignments and when you do your dissertation. These are questions that you will have to constantly ask yourself. Even when you read something, right, or hear things in the news, these are questions that you will constantly ask in order to make a proper decision.